welcome to Hip Hughes History. How you doing? We're gonna knock up some lame duck for you. It's almost like I'm talking gibberish, but we are gonna wrap our heads up around the 20th Amendment. So why don't you strap on your seatbelt, because I'm about to take you on a ride of learning. All right, here we go. All right, before we read the words, guys, let's put them in context. It's 1933. FDR is getting ready to take the reins. The New Deal is on the horizon. And Houston, we have a problem. The problem is, oh my God, I've been waiting forever for the president to take office. Lame duck, guys, is the period of time, whether really you're the president or in Congress, where you really have no power because you've been voted out and you're waiting for the new guy to come in. And in the good old days, when you were riding out like pogo sticks and horses and such, you would get elected in November, but you really couldn't get to Washington, D.C. to around March 4th. So you had a 4-month period where basically the president, the outgoing president, or the outgoing Congress was like a duck with no wings. What a lame duck that would be. So let's read the words and let's find out how we're going to fix her up. All right, so let's read the words. There's 4 sections, right? We'll take some faster than the others, but the first one is quite simply:
the terms of the President and Vice President shall end on noon of the 20th day of January, and the terms of Senators and Representatives at noon on the 3rd day of January, of the years in which such terms would have ended if this article had not been ratified, and the terms of their successors shall then begin.
So basically what they're doing, guys, is they're pushing the date. Congress and the president took office on March 4th in the original Constitution. So we've just done 2 things. Number 1, we pushed the presidential date back, boop, 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 boop. That's me backing up. To January 20th. So now we only have a 2-month window. So if we have another episode like the Civil War where Abraham Lincoln is like chilling like a villain for 4 months as the South is going bye, 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 that's not going to happen. At least we'll cut that time in half. And although FDR is not going to be able to take office to March 4th, the idea is next time around, this kind of Great Depression deal isn't going to have to wait 4 months with Herbert Hoover in office. And we've also moved the date of Congress to January 3rd. Why January 3rd, Mr. Hughes? If it's January 20th, it makes no sense. It makes perfect sense. Section 2.
The Congress shall assemble at least once in every year, and such meetings shall begin at noon on the 3rd day of January, unless they shall by law appoint a different day.
All right, this is important. What they've basically done is they said the new Congress is now going to begin on January 3rd. You've heard that date before? I just said it. Because they take office on January 3rd. So what we've basically done is we've moved the date from December 3rd to January 3rd. And in the good old days, December 3rd meant that basically you had the old Congress take office after the new election. So when you're voting in the Electoral College, if there's some type of issue like there was in 1796 and 1800, and it gets kicked to the House, then we have this problem of the old Congress deciding the new president. So this means that if the Electoral College has not chosen a president or a vice president by that deadline, then it would be the new Congress to choose the president rather than the old Congress, because that wouldn't be cool, because they wouldn't have a mandate. So now that we've had a new president sworn in on January 20th, we have a brand new Congress sworn in on January 3rd of that same year. Section 3. This is a long one, so I'm going to read real fast.
If at any time fixed for the beginning of the term of the President-elect shall have died, the Vice President-elect shall become President. If a President shall not have been chosen from the time fixed for the beginning of his term, or if the President-elect shall have failed to qualify, then the Vice President-elect shall act as President until a President shall have qualified. And the Congress may by law provide for the case wherein neither a President-elect nor a Vice Presidential-elect shall have qualified, declaring who shall act as President, or in the manner in which one is to act shall be selected, and such person shall act accordingly until a President or Vice President shall have qualified.
Yeah, this is like kind of one of those what-if games. This is basically what if the president-elect died. And actually, there was an assassination attempt on FDR's life. And although it didn't happen, in that scenario, there'd be no question, and that was John Gardner, that the vice president would then take office. So this is basically going to clear up that scenario. Section 4.
Congress may by law provide for the case of the death of any of the persons from whom the House of Representatives shall choose a president, wherever the right of choice shall have devolved upon them. and for the case of the death of any of the persons from which the Senate may choose a vice president, whenever the right of the choice shall have devolved upon them.
So if you go back to the 12th Amendment, guys, and there's kind of this language that direct how the House of Representatives choose the president and the vice president is chosen by the Senate, if we have some type of electoral tie or nobody's reached an electoral majority. And what this has basically done is said that Congress has the right, the ability to pass a law for presidential succession. So if there is an unclear situation about who the president or the vice president is, Congress now has the ability to deal with that situation. So that's the bulk of the amendment, guys. The big idea you want to get is that this is the lame duck amendment. And get your dates in order. The old date for both Congress and the president, March 4th. The new date for the president, January 20th. And what's the date for Congress? You knew that one, didn't you? It was January 3rd. There you go, guys. If you haven't checked out Hip Use History, why don't you zip over to my page right now? There's like 200 million videos. Maybe not that many, but there's enough to grow your brain 10 times in size. How do you like that? And where attention goes, energy flows. And we'll see you next time that you're ready to do some of the learning.